You know, I wonder if you've ever noticed that we as humans are born with all these tools to sense our environment, to sense the things around us, to hear things, to see things, to taste things, and touch things. We have all these senses for sensing everything that's going on around us and the ability to travel to other places and the farthest reaches of the planet and the universe, perhaps. Yet we're born with no inner tools or any inner senses other than what one might call the third eye, but a lot of folks may say that that's been closed over time. But the truth is, us as humans today, beyond all speculation or religious dogma or idealism, here we are. We have all these resources to find out what's going on around us and prove things scientifically. But the inner senses cannot be measured. If a person is to say, hey, I saw a tall blue statue, a person could say, oh, okay, it's blue, it's a statue. How tall is the statue? It's 20 feet. Okay, it's a 20-foot blue tall statue. They can understand what they're talking about. When a person says, I had a spiritual breakthrough, that can be interpreted in a million ways, and it is. And when a person says the word God, the same thing happens. Every single person, doesn't matter what denomination, what religion, or what group of thinking you are, every person has their own view when you say a particular word. When it's related to the spiritual world or the inner world. And when you're seeking truth, the feelings that people have are so similar everywhere around the world. They really can't be denied. And it might be something within our psychology, something in our psyche that we just don't understand. Or it could be what people have called God forever. But what it comes down to is that all these senses that we have to measure the things around us can prove what solid things that we have, can prove how big my camera is, because two people can compare those thoughts and write it down on a piece of paper and measure it for themselves. When a person has an inner experience, it can't be shared in the sense of documentation. It can only be expressed. And I think that when folks express themselves, they can't quite find the words to put down to the things just kind of go. Everyone knows when you start talking, sometimes things just flow and you start saying things you don't even know that you knew, because you can't express some things in the English language, no matter how complex the language may get. It's still simplistic compared to the way a feeling a person has, that Zen feeling, that feeling of, oh my God, this is what life's about. A good example is if you take a large dose of LSD and you're peaking and you go into this, you'll have this experience sometimes where you have this aha moment and it's like the universe is understood and you are on par with the universe. It's also subtle, but it is a feeling that you can't deny. And so many people who have taken psychedelics know what I'm talking about. No, it's not a delusion or a hallucination. This is a true feeling about a connection with the universe. This is what drives a lot of people to seek, is their first experiences like this. And when I had it, I'd always try to grasp it and bring it back with me, and you can't. You can't bring back inner experiences and put them into an English language, or any language for that matter. A lot of these things have been described with symbols over a period of history, and I think that maybe that was the best way to handle it. Maybe this is why people used archetypes and compared as above so below and compared mankind with planets and the like, because it's a universal idea that everyone could understand. Well, I don't know, and nobody does, but these issues are something that's really important to people, because we need to understand how we can express ourselves to one another and express our inner feelings. And when a person says spiritual, most people just laugh because they say, oh, that could mean anything. And they're right, it's laughable. A person has to be very specific. Well, I'm a Christian, or I'm a Buddhist. And then people are like, okay, that's the religion. But for a person who's just a seeker, all we have is names like mystic or seeker or philosopher, or it goes on and on, a list of random terms that people use. Delusional comes up a lot, but the feelings that you have when you make discoveries can't be shared in any way except for the and the nod between you and someone who knows. I've met people who differ in belief greatly from me and have completely different ideas of what life's about. But we still completely agree on the most important things, which is that God is everything, and we are all God, and we are all one. And when you hurt your neighbor, you're hurting yourself. And living by simple principles and respecting individuals and their right to live the way they want to, as long as it's not harming you or others, that should be respected. And no one should ever put a person down for the way they live or tell them they should live a different way, because, and especially not express their views to a person to the point where they're pushing their religion or their ideas on another person, because that's unacceptable. Some people aren't ready to hear stuff. You can tell a person something, and if they want to know more, they'll ask you questions. But if you push yourself on them, they're just going to turn away. So, with that said, think about that for a minute. The inner tools are not there except for just our seeking and our thinking. I mean, there's no set, okay, these are our eyeballs for seeing our soul. These are our ears for hearing God. All of these things come in one sense that can't be described, and that's what the third eye basically, is used to symbolize. So, back to another symbol. So, on and on we go. Looking inward, moving outward. Much love to everyone. Namaste.